Now, if you lift weights and your aim is to put on lean muscle mass, there's a few scientific concepts that you need to keep in mind to maximize your results. And that's what today's video is about. Now, to be honest, there's a lot of detail and science that goes behind every single one of the concepts I'm going to speak about today. So today's not a detailed video, but it's a brief overview to introduce these topics to you, the viewer. So without wasting any time, let's get straight to the concepts. Concept number one is the most important concept throughout your lifting life. It's the concept of progression. So let me break this down really simply for you. Now suppose you're lifting weights, suppose you're a beginner. Now you go to do a bicep curl and you take a 5 kg dumbbell and do 10 reps with it. So now what's happening is that in each of those reps, your muscle is breaking down. Now your brain and your body are super intelligent. Every time you break a muscle through weight training, it'll repair the muscle and put an even stronger muscle in its place. And that's how you can increase size and strength through weight training. Your body adapts to the resistance it's given and becomes stronger. So every time you lift weights, you damage your body and your body repairs itself to become stronger. But you gotta keep in mind there's a limit to this. So how do you overcome that limit? This is where the concept of progression or progressive overload comes into play. Okay, so let me explain this with an example. For a month, if you do a 5 kg bicep curl, suppose you do 10 reps for a month, eventually your bicep will be strong enough to take a bigger weight. Your job is to progress by increasing the intensity of the exercise. Now you can choose whether to increase the amount of weight you're lifting or the amount of reps or decrease the rest between sets. So your aim is to increase the overall intensity of a workout by increasing the overall load that your body is taking. You need to increase the volume of your workout. Now volume, this is concept number 2. Okay, now volume is kind of a complicated concept, but the simplest way of putting it is this. It's the total amount of weight you've lifted into the total amount of reps you've done. So suppose you've done 10 reps of a particular exercise with 10 kg weights, your overall volume is 100. As a personal trainer, this is something we need to keep a track of for our clients. It's a great way of measuring the progression. So over time, you want to aim to increase the overall volume that you're giving to someone in an exercise if you want to help them put on lean muscle mass. Also, you see those guys in the gym noting down things into their notebook. They're basically keeping a track of their overall volume of the workout. And over time, the aim is to kind of increase the volume a little bit just to keep your progression going. So progression and volume work together. Keep that in mind. Next concept, workout form. Now this is super important whether you're a beginner, intermediate or even an advanced lifter. Forget everything I've spoken about in this video. Forget all the scientific yarn I've given you. If you want to take away one thing from this video, keep in mind that throughout your lifting life, the form of the exercise is the most important thing for you. You know, you hear so much about weight training having a bad name and weight training stunting your growth. All that is actually linked to bad form. The only way weight training can harm your body is if you don't do the form correct. And that's why it's the most important thing. Now, if you're a complete beginner to fitness and you want to learn correct form of exercising, make sure you check out my beginners workout series by clicking on that card. I think it'll help you a lot. Next concept, the science of the rep range. High reps for cuts, bro. Well, firstly, forget that statement. It's not as simple as that. There's a lot of science that goes behind it. Now, one of my earliest videos was all about the detailed science related to the rep range. Different rep ranges affect how your body will grow and how your body will look. So if you want to know the detailed science of it, make sure you check out that video. But for now, let's quickly go over it. The word rep stands for repetitions of an exercise that you do in a set. Now, depending on the number of reps you take per set, it has different effects on your body. So you can group the rep ranges and the effects into 3 main groups. The first group is the low rep range that helps increase your strength but not so much your size. So this rep range falls anywhere from 1 to 6 or 7 reps. I don't want to do heavy weights, I'll get bulky. Well, no, actually, it's the light weights in higher rep ranges that make you bulky in terms of size. The next rep range is the super high rep range, that's say around 16 to 20 reps per set. This primarily helps a lot with size but not so much as strength. And the third rep range is a hybrid of the 2 rep ranges. It falls somewhere in the middle, say at around 8 to 12 reps, and it gives you benefits of both size and strength. And I feel that as a beginner, that 8 to 12 rep range is the sweet spot for you. And the final concept is programming. Now this is a super detailed concept. You can go really deep into this, but as an intermediate gymmer, this is all you need to know. So programming is basically how you divide your entire workout for the week. So suppose you have 1 week, there needs to be a strategy behind which body part you train on which day. You can't take it randomly. And programming of a workout also includes the order of the exercises you've taken for a particular workout. But first, let's look at the entire week and let's look at how you're going to plan your split. Now there's three groups of muscles that you need to keep in mind. The first is the CST or chest, shoulder and triceps. The second is the back and biceps. And the third is the back and legs. Now you have to understand that for a pair of muscles that fall in the same muscle group, you can't do them on back-to-back days. So suppose your chest workout is on a Monday, you can't do a shoulder or a tricep workout on a Tuesday, but you can do the shoulder and the tricep workout with the chest workout on the Monday. This also applies to the other muscle groups. So suppose your back workout's on a Monday, you can't do legs on a Tuesday and vice versa. The logic behind this is if you train one muscle in a particular muscle group, you're also using the other two muscles in that group to help with that first muscle. So ideally, always keep a gap of at least a day between training muscles from the same muscle group. That's the first concept you got to keep in mind. And the second programming concept is that just how there's a strategy behind selecting your split for the workout, there's a strategy behind selecting the order of the exercises you take in a particular workout. You got to remember that your workout should start with the most intense compound movement for that particular muscle group. Compound movements are basically where you use more than one joint to execute that particular movement, and isolation movements are those where you only use the single joint. So you start the workout with a compound movement and then you move to the simpler isolation movement. So remember, you got to start with using two joints and move on to the easier isolation movement based exercises. Always keep that in mind. Hey guys, so that was the video for today. If you liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Now, I've always maintained at BeerBiceps that how you look primarily depends on your diet. Exercise definitely plays a role, but primarily it's all about your diet. That's why I feel you should definitely check out my full day of eating video. It'll give you a better look at how I look at my own food and how I look at diet in order to build lean muscle mass. So definitely check it out. Either way, if you want to follow my personal fitness journey, these are my handles and that's my Facebook page. So until next time guys, from BeerBiceps, see you.